Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानो सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निधिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are discussing the dynasty of Vaivasvata Manu. So far we discussed how in the dynasty of Ikshvaku, who was the son of Vaivasvata Manu, the famous king Amrish Maharaj came, and then the story of Amrish Maharaj we discussed. And Amrish Maharaj came in the dynasty of son of Nabhag. He was the son of Nabhag. And then we were discussing about the dynasty of Ikshvaku Manu, how Ikshvaku Manu was born from the sneezing of Vaivasvata Manu. He came out of the nostril, and then he had 100 sons, and how he divided his whole kingdom into the 100 sons. And we discussed the story of Vikukshi, Puranjaya, and the dynasty of Puranjaya was discussed. In the dynasty of Puranjaya, one of the kings was Mandhata, and we saw how the 50 daughters of Mandhata, they got married to Saubhari Muni, and we discussed the wonderful story of how Saubhari Muni, because he offended the great devotee Garuda, he got implicated and he fell down because he saw two fishes mating. And we saw the beautiful lessons which we can learn from this Saubhari Muni, how the offense to a great devotee is so very dangerous. And then ultimately Saubhari Muni, after enjoying with these daughters for many years, ultimately he renounced. He took to Vanprastha life, and his wives also followed their husband, and they all attained the supreme destination. So now we'll be discussing today the 7th chapter of this 9th canto, entitled The Descendants of King Mandhata. So in the previous chapter, Shukdev Goswami described about the 50 daughters of Mandhata. So now he describes about the sons of Mandhata. So Shukdev Goswami says that, this Ambarish, he was one of the most prominent sons of Mandhata. And Ambarish was accepted as a son by his grandfather Yavanashva. And then Ambarish, he begot Yavanashva, and the son of Yavanashva was Haritha. One of the other sons of Mandhata was Purukutsu. He married Narmada, and Narmada, she was the sister of the serpents. So Vasuki, was one of the brothers of Narmada. He got Narmada married to Purukutsu, and Narmada, he took Purukutsu to Rasatal. And in Rasatal, Purukutsu, he, because he was such a great devotee of Lord, he was empowered by all the Nagas, headed by Vasuki. and he killed all the Gandharvas there. And then all the serpents, because they were so very happy because their enemies were killed, they gave benediction to this king Purukutsu. And Shukdev Goswami says that anyone who remembers these incidents, actually serpents gave benediction to Purukutsu, that anybody who remembers this incident of you killing all the Gandharvas will be assured safety from the snakes. So then Shukdev Goswami describes that in the dynasty of Purukutsu, his son was Trasadasyu, his son was Anaranya, Anaranya's son was Harayashva, Harayashva's son was Praruna, Praruna's son was Tribandhana, and his son was famous Satyavrata. This Satyavrata, he was also celebrated as Trishanku, and we have heard about this story of Trishanku. So Trishanku, why he was named as Trishanku? Because he had three faults. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, what were the three faults? So these three faults, they became the suffering, the cause of suffering for this Trishanku, like three nails. Shanku means nails. So what were the three faults? First, he displeased his father. Second, he killed a cow of his guru, milking cow of his guru. And third, he enjoyed unsanctified items. So once it so happened that this Trishanku, he kidnapped the bride of a Brahmana when she was being married. So the father of this bride, so actually his father, because Trishanku's father, he was very upset with this action of Trishanku. He cursed Trishanku or Satyavrata to become Chandal. So he acquired all the propensities of a Chandal. And later, we know the story because Agastya, this Vashishta and Vishwamitra, they were having some fight amongst each other. So this Trishanku, he wanted to go to heaven in the self-same body. So he went to Vashishta. And Vashishta said, no, you cannot go with this body. You have to change your body. You have to get another body. So Trishanku, he did not like this idea. So he went to Vishwamitra. He knew Vishwamitra is the enemy of Vashishta. So he went to Vishwamitra and he told that, I want to go to heaven. I went to Vashishta. He disagreed. He did not allow me to go to heaven. He did not empower me. Can you help me? Vishwamitra, he had already enmity with Vashishta. So he empowered this Trishanku and he sent him to heavenly planets in the self-same body. But, when Indra, he saw there is some invader coming in the heavenly regions without having the bona fide authority. Just like if you want to go to America, you should have a proper visa, or any other place outside of India. You should have a proper visa, passport, everything. Similarly, if all these rules and regulations are there for this world, then what to speak of the heavenly planets? Nobody can enter the heavenly planets without having proper pious credits. That's why Srila Prabhupada, he would be very much against when he would hear that, we have gone to moon. He said, without bona fide authorized credits, you cannot go to moon. Nobody can go to moon. So they didn't go to the moon. That's what Prabhupada would say many times. And Prabhupada would say they had gone to Nevada desert and they have just made a huge picture about it. They have not gone to moon. So this Indra, when he saw some invader entering heaven, he pushed him down. So Vishwamitra was pushing him up, and all the heavenly denizens headed by Indra, all the demigods, they pushed him down. But nonetheless, Vishwamitra, he was so obsessed, he made a separate heaven in between for Trishanku. So he did not fall down all the way to the earth, but he remained in the middle. And Shukdev Goswami says, even today he can be still seen hanging in the sky, head downward. So that is the story of Trishanku. So Trishanku, he had a son, the famous Harishchandra. So Harishchandra, because of Harishchandra, this Shukdev Goswami says that Vishwamitra and Vashishta, they quarreled among each other, just like in the form of birds. So what happened, because Vishwamitra and Vashishta, they were always inimical towards each other. Vishwamitra became the priest of Harishchandra, and as charity, he took away all the possessions of Harishchandra. Vashishta, when he came to know, he became so very angry. He cursed Vishwamitra that you become a adi bird. That's one type of bird. Vishwamitra also became angry, and he cursed Vashishta that you become a crane. So as birds, they both were fighting. So that's what Shukdeva Goswami describes. Harishchandra, he didn't have a son, and therefore he was very sad. So by the instructions of Narad Muni, by the advice of Narad Muni, he took shelter of Lord Varuna, and he prayed to Lord Varuna that, "Oh Varuna, if you give me a son, with that same son I will do a sacrifice for you." So by the mercy of Varun Dev, he got a son, and he named his son as Rohita. So when he got the son, any father, would become so very attached to his son. So Harishchandra, he became so very attached to his son that he did not do a sacrifice, because he had to sacrifice his own son in that. So every time Varuna would approach Harishchandra that, why you are delaying it? Every time Harishchandra would give so many reasons. He said, an animal becomes fit to be sanctified only after 10 days of birth. Again, then he said, when an animal grows teeth, then he becomes pure enough to be sacrificed. Then after some time he says, when all the teeth fall out, then he'll be fit for sacrifice. Then he says, when the animal's teeth grow again, then it will be pure for sacrifice. And then it says, when an animal becomes a Kshatriya, sacrificed animal, when the son becomes a Kshatriya and he is capable of fighting an enemy, then he will be purified completely. So in this way, Harishchandra was delaying because he was so very attached to his son. So he repeatedly asked Lord Varuna to wait. Son of Harishchandra, Rohita, he understood that what is going to happen. My father has promised to Varunadev that he'll use me and he'll sacrifice me. So to save himself from death, he went to the forest. Along with his bow and arrow, he carried his bow and arrows, and he went to the forest. And because Harishchandra, he could not fulfill the promise which he had made to Varunadev, he became inflicted with a disease called dropsy. And as a result, his abdomen was full of fluid, and it became very large. When Rohita, he came to know about the situation of his father, he became so very sad. He wanted to return back to the capital, but every time he wanted to return, Indra would come, and Lord Indra, he would forbid him. And he told Rohita that, you go and travel to all the holy places and then you get purified. So then in this way, Rohita traveled for 5 years to so many holy places. And then ultimately, after 5 years of travel, this Rohita, he came back to the kingdom. When he came in the 6th year, Rohita, as he was returning, he purchased one a person called Shuna Shepa. He was the son of Ajigartha. And he offered this Shuna Shepa to be offered as a sacrifice and as a sacrificial animal. So with the help of this Shuna Shepa, Harishchandra, he performed a huge sacrifice, human sacrifice, and he pleased all the devatas. As a result, he got cured of the dropsy. So then Shukdeva Goswami says, in that great sacrifice, there were great priests who were attending. Vishwamitra was there, Vashishta was there, and all the various wonderful qualified Brahmanas were there. And Indra, he became so very pleased with this Harishchandra that he gave him a golden chariot. And then Shukdeva Goswami says, I'll tell you about the glories of Shunashepa. Actually, he also was not sacrificed. He survived that. So it will be described later in the 16th chapter what happened to Shunashep. So in this way, after this sacrifice was done, Vishwamitra, he enlightened Harishchandra with spiritual knowledge, because he was so very happy seeing the dedication and simple uh, attitude of the Harishchandra and his wife. They gave everything. They suffered a lot. And there's a whole story of Harishchandra, we know how both the husband and the wife, they suffered a lot. They tolerated so many things. So therefore, Vishwamitra, he was so very happy. He gave him imperishable knowledge about the Supreme Lord, how to fulfill the mission of human form of life. And in this way, Harishchandra, he attained liberation by merging his mind into the earth, and all the elements got merged ultimately into the Supreme Lord. So that is the end of the 7th chapter. So now after this, Shukdeva Goswami describes the dynasty of Rohita. So this is entitled, the chapter 8 is entitled as the sons of Sagara meet Kapila Dev. So the famous story about appearance of Ganga Devi comes in this chapter. So the son of Rohita was Harita. His son was Champa. He constructed a town called Champapuri. His son was Sudeva. Sudeva's son was Vijaya. His son was Bharuka. Bharuka's son was Vrika. Vrika's son was Bahuka. And Bahuka's son was Sagara. So what happened? This Bahuka's enemies, they took away all his possessions. So he took to Vanprastha life and he entered a forest along with his wife. So when Bahuka died, due to old age, one of his wives, he wanted to die along with him as a sati. But one of the sages called Aurava Muni, he forbade her because she was pregnant. All the other co-wives of this king Bahuka, they became envious of this wife. They wanted to kill the child. So they gave poison to the child. They gave her poison so that the child in the womb would die. But surprisingly, the child did not die, and child was born with poison. So poison is called Gara. So this child was named as Sagara. It is not Sagara, Sagara. So because the child is born with poison, Sagara. So in that king's name, this Ganga Sagar is named. So because at that place, the sons of this Sagara excavated. We'll see what is the story. So now what happened? This Sagara, he was so very powerful. On the order of his guru, Aurava Muni, he performed so many sacrifices, but he did not kill uncivilized men. Because there were so many uncivilized tribes in his kingdom, like Talajangas, Yavanas, Shakas, Hayas, and Barbaras. So he did not kill any of them. Instead, he made them look very differently. For some, he shaved their head half. Some he shaved completely. Some he shaved their mustaches. Then some he left with loose hair. Some were without any undergarments. Some were without external garments. That's how they were, there. So this Sagara, on being instructed by Aurava Muni, he performed many sacrifices, many Ashwamedha Yagyas. And you know what happens when anybody is doing Ashwamedha Yagyas? One personality becomes very disturbed, and that is Indra. So Indra, he forbade, just like we heard about this Prithu Maharaj story, he stole the sacrificial horse. So Indra again came, he stole the sacrificial horse. Sagara, he had two wives, Sumati and Keshini. Sumati, she had 60,000 sons. These sons, they were so very proud of their prowess. When they came to know that their father's sacrificial horse is stolen, they became so very angry. And on being instructed by their father, Sagara, they went on everywhere searching for the horse. To such an extent, when they did not find the horse in entire Bhumandala, they started digging the Bhumandal. They excavated the whole Bhumandala. And we discussed in the fifth canto, around this Bhumandala, around this Jambu Dvipa, there are eight Dvipas. These Dvipas are formed when these sons of Sagara, they were excavating, they were digging the earth, because the earth comes out when somebody is digging. So this earth which came out became the eight planets, because they were throwing the mud all around. That's how Lanka and all that, Ramanaka Island, they came. So these sons, they were digging the earth. They went all the way up to Patal, because we saw all these lower planetary systems, they are like the holes in the Bhumandala. So they went all the way up to the Patal, and as they were digging, lots of living entities were getting killed. So as they reached Patal, they found this horse in the northeastern direction near Kapil Muni's ashram. So this Kapil Muni, because he wanted to be in a seclusion doing tapasya, he was doing his tapasya in that region. So when these 60,000 sons of Sagara, they saw this horse standing near Kapil Muni's ashram, they suspected that this is the person who might have stolen the horse. So they started shouting, "He is sinful, he has captured our father's horse, kill him, we have to, destroy him." As they were shouting like this and they tried to attack Kapila Muni, the sage opened his eyes. Indra, he was the main person behind bewildering the minds of all these sons. Because of the influence of Indra, they could not understand the prowess of Kapila Muni. They lost their intelligence. And very interesting word is used, Maryada Vyatikram. They disrespected a great personality. So therefore, due to their own misbehavior, the fire element in their body started increasing and they all got burned to ashes. So this is how it is very, very important to understand. If we offend great personalities, will destroy our own self. Ayu Shriyo Yasho Dharmam Lokanaशीष एव च Hanti Shreyamsi Sarvani Pumso Mahadatikramah. So it is described in the 10th canto that when somebody offends a great personality, what happens? Ayu, Shriyo, Yash, Dharma, Lokan, Ashish Eva. His lifespan decreases, all the opulence goes down, all the fame is destroyed, religious practices are destroyed, and one loses all the pious credits. Pumso mahad vyatikramaha. If somebody offends great personalities, he gets completely destroyed, whoever he may be. The great sons of Sagara was directly coming in the line of King Ikshvaku. They burnt by the fire which was there in their own body. Nobody, Kapila Shukdev Goswami describes that some sages, some people, they say that Kapila Dev burnt all these 60,000 sons with the fire which was coming from his eyes. But Shukdev Goswami says, no, that was not the case. The wise people do not accept this. Because how can Kapil Dev, who was embodiment of pure goodness, how can passion, because anger is coming from passion, how can passion enter the mind of Kapila Dev? So therefore it was not Kapila Dev who burnt all of them. It was their own, because everybody's body is made, our body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. So the fire element in the body started rising, increasing, and the temperature went on increasing, and ultimately they all were burnt. So therefore, if we offend some great personality, then we are destroying our own self. So that is very, very important. So repeatedly, again and again in the Bhagavatam, it is described, so many stories, so many pastimes are there to show how offense to a great personality is so very dangerous. And what to speak of a great personality? To anybody, even to a non-devotee. We should not even criticize, we should not even offend anyone. So that's how we have to cultivate this culture of respecting everybody. What to speak of Vaishnavas, who are so very dear to the Lord. We discussed some time back the story of Ambarish Maharaj. How Lord himself says, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam sadhunam hridayam toham madanyatena jananti naham tebhyo managapi. Devotees reside in the heart of Krishna. If we offend, if we hurt Vaishnavas, then our devotional service is gone. We are destroyed. So therefore, it is again and again emphasized that we have to be really very, very careful not to criticize, not to even hear criticism. We may uh, we may be talking to some person, some devotee, and if those people they start criticizing third person, another Vaishnava, we should immediately leave that place. Even if that devotee feels little bad, oh, I am talking to you and you are leaving me, it is better. Because, we have heard in the story of Daksha and Sati. Sati himself, Sati goddess, Sati, she tells, best thing is cut off the tongue of a person who is offending a Vaishnava. If you cannot do it, commit suicide. Cannot do it, just leave the place immediately. So if the person who is criticizing is himself a devotee, then what to be done? You know, Immediately leave the place. Because the poison which if it enters in our minds, it will destroy our devotional service. Our impetus for bhakti will go very slowly. It will not happen in a day or two. We'll not even realize how much poison we are taking in. It is like you are climbing up the cliff. At one point of time, there is a tipping point. You know, so far we have not reached the tipping point. We may not even realize that our devotional creeper is getting choked up. When it reaches the topmost point, and then there is a sudden fall, we lose all our taste. We may go away from bhakti. So that's how hearing criticism or criticizing a Vaishnava is so very dangerous. Pumso mahadvyatikramaha. So that is the very, very important thing we have to learn from this story. How these sons of this Sagara, because they offended a great sage, the Supreme Lord himself, they were destroyed themselves. So Shukdev Goswami says that this Kapiladev, he enunciated the Sankhya philosophy. This Sankhya philosophy is such a strong boat. This material world is like an ocean, Bhava Sindhu. And this Sankhya philosophy is the perfectly made boat to cross this ocean of material existence. That's how we can dissociate ourselves with the attachments from the attachments of this world. So therefore, after describing this, Shukdev Goswami describes the dynasty of Sagara. Another son of Sagara, Sagar had two wives. One of the wife was Sumati, and her sons were 60,000 sons. Another wife of Sagara was Keshini. So Keshini's son was Asamanjas. Asamanjas' son was Amshuman. So Amshuman, he was always working for the well-being of his grandfather Sagara. In the past life, Asmanjas, the son of Sagara, he was a great yogi, but he fell down from his practices. Because of the bad association, he fell down. Although he fell down from his, yogic position, As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Neha Vikramana Pratyavayano Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. If somebody performs even little devotional service or little spiritual advancement, either Ashtanga Yogi or a Jnana Yogi or Bhakti Yogi, whoever you may be, that never goes waste. So this Asmanjas, he remembered his past life. He was a Jati Smara. So Prabhupada writes, Jati Smara means he remembered who was he in his past life. He remembered that I was a yogi and I fell down because of bad association. Yet he behaved like a miscreant. Sometimes he would go in the river and he would catch hold of the legs of the children who would be sporting. So one day it so happened that he caught hold and he drowned some of the children. So Chakravarti Thakur writes why he was behaving like this. This Asamanjas, he wanted that nobody should give any attention to me. I want to avoid any type of association, any type of bad association. So therefore he pretended to do some abominable things. So when Sagara, he came to know that my son has, drowned all these children, he became so very angry. He ostracized, he, told him to leave this kingdom. Asmanjas, when he came to know that his father has exiled him, by his mystic power, he brought all these boys back to life. He was so very powerful. He brought all these boys back to life, and then he got a reason. He did not stay in the kingdom. He left. Sagara, when he came to know, he was bitterly lamenting for his son. All the citizens, they were shocked to see the power of this Asmanjasa. Son of this Asmanjasa, Amshuman, uh, so this King Sagara, he ordered Amshuman that you go and you search for the sacrificial horse, because we have lost this horse and that's why we could not complete this sacrifice. So please search for the horse. So Amshuman, he went all the way down following the path which was dug by his uncles. He went down all the way to the Patal and he found this horse near the Kapila Muni's ashram, and there was a huge pile of ashes. Amshuman, when he saw this Lord Kapila, he understood that this is a great personality, maybe Lord himself. He offered his obeisances and started offering prayers, beautiful prayers he offers. He says, "Oh my Lord Kapila, no one can understand you. Even Brahma cannot understand to this day. By using his logic, nobody can understand your transcendental form. If Brahma cannot understand, then what to speak of others like us? How can we, sons of Sagara, who are created by Brahma? Brahma cannot understand. How can we understand? We are created by Brahma. Nobody can understand you because we are completely in the bodily conception. We are completely in ignorance." So Prabhupada, Chakravarti Thakur writes that it is not surprising that the sons who offended Lord Kapila, they were burnt. Because here Amshuman is saying it is not surprising. Because who can know you? Even Brahma cannot know you. How will these sons, they know you? So they did not understand who you are. That's why in ignorance they offended you. Prabhupada writes, due to being influenced by the material modes of nature, one cannot understand the Lord. Only by the mercy of the Lord, only by the mercy of the devotees of the Lord, one can understand him. Otherwise, it is so very difficult. Somebody came to Prabhupada, one of the disciples. "Prabhupada, what was our qualification that we got this process of Krishna consciousness?" He thought maybe, Prabhupada will glorify him. "Oh, you deserved it. You are such a great qualified soul." Prabhupada said, "You had no qualification. I made your qualification. अथापि ते देव पदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन्महिम्नो न चान्य एकोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन् अथापि ते देव पदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसाद लेश. If somebody gets a little bit of mercy of the Supreme Lord, prasad lesh anugrihit, if somebody gets a little bit of mercy of the Lord, he can understand Lord. Janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno. Otherwise, if sages they keep on speculating for thousands of years, na chanya eko pichiram vichinvan, they cannot understand you, O my Lord. So therefore, without mercy of the Lord, without mercy of the devotees of the Lord, Guru Krishna Kripai Pai Bhakti Lata Bij, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado, Yasya Prasadan Nagati Kutopi. So therefore, we should be always grateful for whatever we have received in Krishna consciousness. If we are not grateful, then we are great fools, as it is said sometimes. And Bhagavatam describes, if we think of repaying the debt, we cannot repay the debt to our gurus. We'll just become a joker. We know the patram. Nobody can repay the debt. Only causeless mercy of the Lord is there. So we have to be just grateful. So this Amshuman is saying people, they cannot see you because they are so very covered by your illusory potency. They are covered by the modes of material nature. They think that this action and reaction, they are only happening because of the modes. They don't understand that they are completely overcome by the Maya. Because of the illusion, because of the Maya, they cannot see you, O my Lord. They don't know you. Because you are transcendental, you are beyond the modes. Nobody can understand you. So Prabhupada writes, unless one has devotion, one cannot understand the Lord. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yashasmi tattvataha. Only by the mercy, only by devotion one can know him. And that devotion purifies oneself internally and externally. Om pavitro pavitro va sarvavastam gatopiya yasmaret pundarikaksham sabhaya abhyantara shuchihi. So Prabhupada writes, to practice devotion, one has to purify oneself internally and externally. Externally by bathing. In fact, in one of the purport, Prabhupada writes, one should bathe daily, brush his teeth, clean his tongue, and take bath every day, cut nails, because Prabhupada knows what is going to happen in the next 10,000 years. These books will last for 10,000 years. So in one of the purport, Prabhupada writes all those things. We may be thinking, why Prabhupada is writing all this? Because he is seeing what is happening, what will happen in the future. So Amshuman is saying that, who can understand you, O my Lord? Only one who has devotion can understand. Otherwise, nobody can understand. Great sages like four Kumaras, they realize you because they are free from the modes. Ignorant people like us, we cannot realize you. And then they say, oh my Lord, you have many names, you have many forms. Prashantamaya gunakarma lingam anama rupam sadasad vimuktam jnanopadeshaya grihita desham namamahe tvam purusham puranam. He says, oh my Lord, you have transcendental names, you have so very different transcendental forms. These forms are fully free from any material cause and effect. Anama, you don't have any material name, you don't have any material form. So therefore, he says that you assume the form of knowledge to give teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes. I offer my obeisances to that primeval Lord. And then he says that, oh my Lord, those whose hearts are bewildered by lust, anger and greed, they cannot understand you. Tvanmaya rachite loke vasto buddhya grihadishu भ्रमन्ति कामलोभेर्ष्या मोह विभ्रांत चेतसाः those whose hearts are bewildered by lust, anger, greed, and illusion. They are attached to family, wife, children, and all the things which are related to it. They cannot understand you. Brahmanti, they keep on wandering in this material world, which is created by your Maya. So therefore, O my Lord, today we have become purified because we have got your darshan. Adyana sarva bhutana moha pasha dirashchinna. Adyana sarva bhutanam karam karme indriyashaya moha pasha dridam chinna bhagvam stava darshanat. Adya, today, O my Lord, Lord of all the beings, sarva bhutanam, we have become purified. We have become freed from all the lusty desires. Kama, karmendriyashaya, chinna. We have become free. Mohapash, by your mercy. By your darshan, we have become free. Kapiladev, when he heard all these beautiful prayers, he became very merciful to Amshuman. He told Amshuman that, "Oh Amshuman, please take this sacrificial horse, and complete it, the fire sacrifice, Ashwamedh Yagya of your grandfather, but, sorry, your father. So, but this, your your uncles will be delivered only by Ganga." So, sorry, the Sagar is the grandfather of Amshuman. So he says, your uncles, they will be delivered only by Ganga water. So Amshuman, he circumambulated the Lord and took the horse, offered obeisances, and he went back. So this Sagara, with the help of this horse, he completed this sacrifice. After that, he gave the entire kingdom to Amshuman, became free from all the material desires and all the bondage. He attained perfection of life. Then, this is the end of the 8th chapter. Now, the 9th chapter is entitled as the Dynasty of Amshuman. So, this King Amshuman, he tried his best. He performed austerities for a long, long time. But he could not bring Ganga. He died. His son also tried. His son was Dilipa. He also tried for a long time, whole life. But still he could not get. He also left his body. Son of Dilipa was Bhagirath. So Bhagirath, he performed severe tapasya, severe austerities he performed. And as a result of the tapasya, three generations are doing tapasya to please Ganga Devi. Ultimately, Ganga Devi was pleased, appeared in front of Bhagirath. And Bhagirath, he expressed his desire. Ganga Devi said, "Oh Bhagirath, I am satisfied. I shall grant you the benediction. What do you want?" So Bhagirath, he expressed his desire that, my uncles, my great-grandfathers, they have to be delivered. So please, my ancestors, unless you appear, they will not be delivered. Ganga Devi says, "I can appear, but I have two concerns. If I fall on this Bhumandala, my first concern is, because I am falling from the sky with such a huge, great force, I will pierce this Bhumandala and I'll enter the Rasatal. I will go to Rasatal. Who will sustain my force?" Secondly, she says, another concern is, when I appear on the earth, so many people will come and take bath in me. They will put all their sins in me. How will I be free from all the sins? Prabhupada writes there, only Krishna can deliver people who are sinful from sinful reactions. Nobody else. Only Krishna gives this assurance. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Because Krishna is Shuddham. He is Apapavidham. He is supremely pure. He cannot become contaminated by the sins. So therefore, Lord is like a sun. If sun evaporates water from filthy places like the stool and the urine, the sun does not become contaminated. Supreme Lord is supremely powerful. Tejiyasam na doshaye. One should never find faults in great, powerful personality. So even Ganga, she fears contamination because of the sins. Prabhupada writes, sometime Guru must, even, he says, even a Guru has to suffer partially from the sins of his disciples. One time Prabhupada was very sick. So, and one of the disciples of Prabhupada, he was thinking, Prabhupada is a pure devotee. How come he is falling sick? He went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, you are a pure devotee of the Lord. Why you are falling sick? Prabhupada said, because many disciples of mine, they are not following the principles. That's why I have to suffer. So then all the disciples, they became so very serious. Prabhupada has to suffer because of our sins. So that's why it is a great compassionate nature of a spiritual master that he is ready to accept the sins of his disciples so that we can practice bhakti and attain perfection of life. That's what Prabhupada writes there. So this Bhagirath, when he heard these two concerns of Ganga Devi, he answers. Very beautiful. Sadhavo nyasina shanta brahmishta loka pavana agham harantyagam te angasanga te shwaste hi. So Bhagirath is saying, sadhavo, devotees who are nyasi, who are detached from all the material desires. Shanta, they are equipoised, peaceful. Brahmishta, they are completely focused in the service of the Lord. They are fixed in devotional service. Lokapavana, they can purify the whole world. Haranti agham te angasangat. When they will come, they will take bath in you. They will purify you. They will remove your sins when they take bath. Somebody may ask, okay, but who will remove the sins from the devotees? Devotees will take my sin. Who will remove the sins of the devotees? Lord Hari will remove them. Teshu astehi agabid Hari. Who is Hari? He is the Agha Bhida. Bhida means destroyer, Agha means sins. So Lord Hari is the destroyer of sins. He will purify the devotees. Don't worry about it. So Prabhupada writes, how come devotees, they have such power to purify? Bhavadvida bhagavata tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani swantastena gadabhrita. Why and how the devotees, they are so very powerful? Swa antasthena gadabhrita. They have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord in their hearts. That's why tirthi kurvanti tirthani. They make the place into a pilgrimage place. That's why Brahmaji prays. And Brahmaji is telling to Narada, oh Narada, my words, they never go false. My senses, they never go towards sense gratification. My mind never goes towards faults of others. Why? Because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Lord with great zeal. That is the power of a devotee of the Lord. Just by becoming fixed in the devotional service, one becomes so very powerful. They can purify the whole world. न भारती में अंग मृषोपलक्ष्यते न वै क्वचिन् मे मनसो मृषागति न मे ऋषिकानि पतन्त्य सत्पथे यन्मैरिदौत्कण्ठ्यवता धृतो हरि. So Brahmaji is saying like this, my words, they never go wrong. Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he recalls, once Prabhupada, he came to Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, just in front of our Radha Gopinath temple. There is a place called Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. Just the next road, you cross the road, there is a place. So Prabhupada, he did a program there, and he was coming down the stairs. He pointed his cane towards this place, this area, and he said, we should have a temple there. And in next 20 years, in 88, 1988, 90, a temple started at this place. Words of a devotee never go false. So therefore, devotees have so much power, they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. They can even purify Ganga. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, there are many types of prayaschitta which are mentioned. Atonement, we discussed in the 6th canto. Now Shukdev Goswami says, by all the karma kandi prayaschitta, one will be purified. Parikshit says, that is not good. Again, the desire is not gone. Again, one does sinful activity. Okay, jnana kand, no, that is also out. That is also not good. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana. Only by performing devotional service, agham dhunvanti kartsnena, one becomes purified of all the sins. So therefore he says, don't worry about you. Yourself, devotees will purify you. Who will sustain my force? Lord Shiva will sustain. He can sustain your force. He is the incarnation of Lord himself. Just like the cloth rests on the, horizontal and the vertical threads, right? What is a cloth? What is a fabric? Just the horizontal and the vertical threads. He says, Lord Shiva is the longitude and the latitude of this entire universe. He is the creator. We discussed earlier also how to understand all these things. So he says he will take care of the force of your waves. Don't worry. And Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva is not different from Vishnu. Shiram yadha dadhi vikara vishesha yoga, just like the curd and the milk. So therefore he says, don't worry about it. So then Bhagirath, he performed severe austerities to please Lord Shiva, because he has to please Lord Shiva now. He told, okay, Lord Shiva will sustain the force, but you have to please Lord Shiva also. But Lord Shiva is Ashutosh. Ashutosh means he gets very easily satisfied. So he became very quickly satisfied with Bhagirath. He appeared with great attention for the welfare of the entire world. Lord Shiva, he sustained the force of Mother Ganga on his head. And in this way, this Bhagirath, he drove a chariot and Mother Ganga followed him, all the while purifying through wherever Ganga flowed, purified all the places. And ultimately, Ganga went down to the lower planetary systems, to the place where the ashes of the ancestors of Bhagirath were there. And when they touched, the piles of ashes touched the Ganga water, they all got delivered. They were purified of the offense. So therefore, that is the power of Ganga. Bhasmi bhutanga sangena swaryata sagaratmaja kimpuna shraddhaya devim sevate ye dridhavrata. Just by being sprinkled by the water of Mother Ganga, all the ancestors of Bhagirath, the sons of Sagar, they got delivered. Then what to speak of if somebody is worshipping Mother Ganga with faith and devotion? The same concept, same theme is described many times about chanting the names of the Lord. If a Jamil chanted the name of the Lord, not intending to call Lord Narayan, still he got benefited. What to speak of if somebody with love and devotion chants the name of the Lord? So that is the glory of chanting the names of the Lord. So Prabhupada writes, Mother Ganga is worshipped by her own waters. Just like, when you enter Ganga, you take the water from the Ganga and offer the water back. Similarly, a devotee of the Lord offers a leaf, flower, fruit, little water. Who is giving all that? Krishna himself. But just like the father is pleased when a small child gets some gift for him. The money is given by the father only, but still father is happy. Similarly, when a devotee out of love and devotion offers something to Krishna, he becomes very happy and satisfied. Then Shukdeva Goswami describes the glories of Mother Ganga. Nahi etat paramasharyam sardunya yah oditam ananta charanamboja prasutaya bhavachida. So he says, whatever has been described here, it is not surprising that, sons of Sagara, they got delivered. Because what is Ganga? Ananta charanamboja prasutaya. She is the water which has washed the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. It can deliver anyone from the bondage of material existence. So therefore, he says, Shukdeva Goswami says that, by devoting one's mind on the Supreme Lord with faith, there are many sages who have attained perfection. So anybody who takes shelter of the Lord completely becomes purified and becomes free from the three modes of material nature. So after describing this, Shukdeva Goswami continues and he describes the descendants of Bhagirath. So Bhagirath, his son was Shruta, his son was Sindhu Dvipa, his son was Ayutayu, and his son was Rituparna. Rituparna's son was Sarakama. Sarakama's son was Sudasa. Suda's son was the famous personality Saudas, also called as Mitrasaha or Kalmashapada. So Shukdeva Goswami describes that this Saudas, he married Madayanti. So he married Madayanti, and because of some of the past sinful deeds, this Saudas, he had no son. And he was really sad because of that. Out of mercy, this Saudas, so this Saudas had no son. And then Shukdeva Goswami says that this Saudas, he was cursed by Vasishtha to become a man-eater Rakshasa. So Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard, he became surprised. How is this possible? Why Vasishtha cursed his own disciple? He was a great soul. Saudasa was a great personality. He was a Rajarishi. He was a great devoted king. Why did Vasishtha curse such a great personality? Shukdeva Goswami describes the story. One day, Saudasha, he was in the forest and he killed a man-eating Rakshasa. He was a man-eater. So he was killed by Saudas. But Saudas, there was a brother of this Rakshasa also. Saudas forgave him and he released the brother of this man-eater. The brother, he wanted to take revenge. So he entered the kitchen of Saudas as a cook. One day, Vasishtha Muni, Saudasa invited Vasishtha Muni for lunch at his place, at his palace. So this Rakshasa, who was in the form of cook, he served human flesh to Vasishtha. Vasishtha, by his power, he could understand. As he was examining the food, he could understand that this is a human flesh. He became so very angry with Saudas. He cursed him that may you become a Rakshasa, man-eater Rakshasa. Later on, Vasishtha realized that actually the fault was not of Saudas, but there was a demon who had entered the kitchen and he served. Vasishtha, he became so very sad. He made the curse into just 12 years. Okay, you remain as a Rakshasa for 12 years and then you will be released. And then to further compensate and atone for the curse, he did severe tapasya for 12 years. Saudasa, when he saw that there is no fault of mine, why Vasishtha is cursing me, he became so very angry at Vasishtha. He tried to curse Vasishtha, but his wife Madayanti, she forbade him. And he accepted, okay, and he did not curse. That's why he's called as Mitra Saha, who tolerated. So then, because he had already chanted the Shapa mantra and on the water, so now what to do with the water? You saw that any of the 10 directions, if he would throw the water, he would harm some of the living entities. As a very compassionate personality, he did not want to harm anyone. So he threw that water on his own feet, and that became a black spot on his feet, and that's how he came to be known as Kalmasha Pad, on whose feet there is a black spot. Because of the curse of Vashishta, Saudasa he acquired man-eating propensities. Once, and he was roaming in the forest. Once in the forest, he saw a Brahmana couple mating. Being hungry, this Saudasa, he seized the Brahmani, she started appealing to this Saudasa. She said, "You are not a Rakshasa, you are not a man-eater, you are a Rajarshi king, you are a great descendant of Ikshvaku, you are a great fighter. Please don't act in this irreligious way. My husband has not impregnated me yet. Please return my husband." This human form of life is meant for achieving the highest perfection of life. One can attain the universal benefits by this human body. If you kill this body untimely, how will we attain benefits of human life? Prabhupada writes, this human body is so very rare. Hari Hari Bipale Janama Guainu Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna na Bhajiya Janiya Shunya Vishakhainu. So if you have got this body and if you are not worshipping Mahaprabhu, if you are not worshipping Radha and Krishna, it is like eating poison knowingly. Janiya Shunya. Paya Manushya Janma Jena Shune Gauragun Hena Janma Tara Vyartha Haila. पाइया अमृत धुनि पिए विषगर्त पानी जन्मिया से केने nahi maila. So Kaviraj Goswami says, you have got this human form of life, and what you are doing, yena shune gaurgun, you are not hearing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Hena janma tara vyartha hoila, your life is waste. It is as if paiya amrita dhuni, somebody gets a river of nectar, and what is it drinking? Piye Vishagartha Pani, he is drinking the poison from the deep, dark well. Why did you take birth? You should have died in the womb of your mother. You know. So that's how this human form is so very, you know, important to attain highest perfection. So Prabhupada writes there, living entity within this human form in this material world is on a mission of going back home, back to Godhead. So if we are not utilizing this human body to attain perfection of our life, we are most foolish. And if we are not respecting what we have got, it will be taken away. Prabhupada writes, hundreds and thousands of animals are killed in slaughterhouse every day. Nobody takes them seriously. But if one human is murdered, it is taken so very seriously. Why? Because human form is so very rare. So this Brahman is pleading with Saudas. She's saying, my husband is a qualified Brahmana. He is not enjoying his senses. He always engages in austerities. He is worshipping the Supreme Lord. You are a king. A king must protect a Brahmana. Just like a son does not deserve to die in front of his father, a king who is aware of dharma should not do such a sinful activity. And then she says, "Oh my king, you are well respected. Killing such a saintly Brahmana will not do any good for you. It is a great sin. Please leave him." And then she says, "I cannot live without my husband. If you kill my husband, kill me first. If you want to kill my husband, please kill me first. And then you can kill my husband." So she was pleading, and she said that, killing a Brahmana is like killing a child in the womb of a mother or killing a cow. So Prabhupada writes there, killing a child in the womb is so very sinful. It is like killing a cow and a brahmana. So the whole world nowadays, millions of abortions. There are 15.6 million babies are aborted every year just in India. So many sinful activities are going on. So what will be spoken of, the state of the affairs in this world? So therefore it is so very sinful. People don't even realize what they are doing just for the enjoying senses. They are killing child in the womb. So therefore she is pleading, please don't kill me. But despite all the heartfelt prayers of request of this Brahmani, Saudasa, he was unmoved, being pushed by the providence, being condemned by the curse of Vashishta. He did not listen and he ate the Brahmana. Just like the forest, just like a tiger eats an animal, this Saudas ate this Brahmana. Prabhupada writes, just as destiny causes distress, destiny will bring happiness also. He says destiny is so very extremely strong, but one can change the destiny if one takes to Krishna consciousness. So everything was happening by the providence. Brahmani, when she saw her husband being killed in such a cruel, ruthless way in front of her eyes, she became so very grieved, overwhelmed with grief. This chaste Brahmani, she cursed Saudas. O fool, sinful man, because you have eaten my husband while he was trying to impregnate me. I curse you, you will also die whenever you attempt to impregnate your wife. And then this Brahmani, she, took the bones of her husband, put them on fire, and entered the fire herself. 12 years passed. Saudasa, he became free from the curse. And one day he wanted to unite with his wife. Madayanti, she reminded Brahmani, the curse of the Brahmani. Saudasa, remembering all the curse, he gave up all the desire for enjoying family life. He remained sonless. Later, with the permission of Saudasa, Vashishta, he begot a son in the wife of Saudasa. And the son stayed in the womb for 7 years. It was not coming out. Vashishta became so angry, he struck the abdomen of the Madayanti with a stone. And because of that, the son came out. He was born. He was given the name Ashmak. Ashmak means the child born of a stone. This Saudasa, his son was Ashmaka. Ashmak's son was Balika. Balika, he was called as Nari Kavach. You know why? Because that time Parshuram, he was trying to exterminate the entire Kshatriya race. Parshuram had taken a vow, I will not kill anybody who is getting married. And one more thing, he had taken a vow. So whenever this and he would anybody who is surrounded by women. So what this Balika would do, whenever Parshuram would come, he would surround himself with women. That's how he survived. So this Balika, because entire Kshatriya race was exterminated by Parshuram, he was the only one who remained. He became the progenitor of all the Kshatriya race. That's why he was called as Mulaka. Mulak means the root. So his son was, Balika's son was Dasharatha, not the father of Lord Ram, another Dasharatha. So Dasharatha's son was Airavidi. His son was Vishwasaha. And the son of Vishwasaha was the famous king Khatavanga. So this Khatavanga, he was once requested by, he was unconquerable, he was very powerful king. Once all the demigods, they requested him to assist in the fight against the demons. So this Khatwang, he fought very valiantly. He defeated all the demons, demigods. They were so very happy. They gave benediction to Khatwang. Please ask for a boon. Khatwang, he was so very devoted king. He asked, how much time have I left? How much time do I have in this world? Demigods, very sadly, they said, you have only 2 moments remaining. Immediately, 2 muhurata. Immediately in one muhurata, he transferred himself from the heavenly planets to the earth in his palace, and in one moment he meditated on the Supreme Lord and he perfected his life. He went back to Godhead. So that's how bhakti is so very powerful. If we have intense determination, eagerness, we can become perfect in the self same body, in this life itself. That's what, Parikshit Maharaj, when Shukdev Goswami, he told that, okay, the way to attain perfection is tasmat sankirtanam, tasmat sarvatmana rajan hari sarvatra sarvada shrotavya kirtavyascha smartavyascha ichchata bhayam. Chant, hear, remember the names of the Lord. Parikshit Maharaj may be thinking, अरे बाप रे, I have only 7 days. आप तो पूरा lifetime का project दे रहे हैं. How will I perfect my life? This devotional service is so very long process. Shukdev Goswami says, अरे Khatwang Maharaj, he attained perfection in one moment. You have 7 days. So this is the story, who was Khatwang Maharaj. So Prabhupada writes, anybody who understands the name, form, qualities and the pastimes of the Lord attains perfection. If somebody misses this opportunity, again he has to travel in this cycle of birth and death. Khatwang, when he realized that, okay, now I have only few moments, 1 moment to live, intelligent person, he never ever wastes his time. He uses every moment in service of the Lord. That is the quality of a devotee. Avyarth kalattam. In this today's age of social media, distractions, internet, we have to be really alert not to waste our time even for a moment. Whatever time we have, please engage in some devotional service rather than spending time on internet, surfing, WhatsApp, social media, Facebook and all. Hare Krishna. Yeah, sorry. So we have very limited time with us. We have to be really careful, on guard, not to waste time. So this Khatwang Maharaj, he started introspecting. He thought nothing is more dear to me than the Brahmanas, because Brahmanas are very dear to the Lord. He says, I was never attracted since my childhood to any irreligious activity. In fact, I did not find anything more substantial than service to the Supreme Lord. He says, I am not interested in any material boons. All the devatas, they asked me, but I am not interested in any material boon. So Prabhupada writes, Maharaj Khatwang provides a typical example of a Krishna conscious person. He is not interested in anything material. A devotee does not see anything more important than Krishna. So that is our whole life. Whoever we may be, a student, a businessman, or a housewife, or anybody, we have to mold our life in such a way that Krishna is the center of our life. That's how Krishna, a devotee uses everything in service of Krishna. That is called Yukta Vairagya. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagya Muchyate. So this Khatwang Maharaj is praying, even the devatas, their mind and intelligence, they are absorbed many times in the material desires. Always agitated because of so many desires, they are always agitated. They fail to realize that Supreme Lord who is within their own heart, that is the highest object of meditation. If demigods are bewildered, then what to speak of human beings? Kim dushkarena kratubhistapo vratair dhanadibirva dujayena falguna nayatra narayana pada pankaja smriti pramushta atishayendriya utsavat. Demigods are saying, oh my Lord, we have done lots of tapasya, charity, sacrifice, and we have come here to the heaven. There is one problem here. Everything is good, very nicely arranged. All the seasons are perfect. All objects of sense gratification are there. Only one problem. We cannot remember the lotus feet of you. Nayatra Narayana Pad Pankaja Smriti. We cannot remember you. Why? Atishaya Indriya Utsavat. इंद्रियों का उत्सव चल रहा है यहाँ पे. We cannot remember you. So much of sense gratification. That's why Amrish Maharaj is saying, this Katwang Maharaj is saying that demigods are bewildered. What to speak of human beings? So therefore he says, therefore I must give up all the attachment to things of the world and all the various objects which are created by Maya. They are like phantasmagoria. Gandharvapura. Gandharvapur means phantasmagoria, an imaginary city in the sky. I must give up all my attachment to all these things. With devotion, today, at this moment, I surrender to you, O my Lord, who is the creator of the entire universe. Prabhupada writes, this is pure bhakti yoga. What is this pure bhakti yoga? It involves two things: knowledge and renunciation, vairagya and jnana. They both come automatically in a devotee. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayata Hetukam. In this way, Khatwang Maharaj, he focused his mind, intelligence on the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. And he gave up his body, and he gave up all the bodily identifications. All the ignorance was gone. He attained his original position as a servitor of Lord Vasudeva. That's how he attained liberation. So in this way, this chapter ends. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If anybody has any questions, you can please ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, how 60,000 sons that Sumati begot, so that is a very...
I don't know the details. How she begot 60,000 sons. The Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also does not mention. I was also thinking, but I could not find the answer. How she begot 60,000.
Okay.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Any other questions anybody has?
Prabhuji, our knowledge is so limited.
Sorry?
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhu.
Dandavad Prabhuji?
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you. Please ask your question.
We do not have that much of knowledge and understanding to make out that the 60,000 children, how this could be. So our limited knowledge, we cannot make out. But it has happened.
Yeah, it has happened for sure, because it is mentioned in Bhagavatam. We heard about this Chitraketu Maharaj having 1 crore wives.
1 crore wives.
That is also a bewildering thing. How can 1 crore wives not beget a single child? These are all things very bewildering. So, there are some things which are bewildering, but we have to take them as a matter of faith, because it is written in Bhagavatam. Some things in the Bhagavatam are allegorical, metaphorical, and some things are real. It requires the Acharya's commentary to understand which is real and which is metaphorical, right? So that is the way we have to see things. Okay. So it seems Sauda's punishment was not justified. Yes, it was not justified. That's why Vashishta, he atoned for it. Out of anger, he cursed Saudas. He did not know, you know. Therefore, he atoned for it, and he reduced the curse for 12 years to 12 years. So that's how the great personalities, they may also make mistake, but that's how he repented and atoned for it also, right? Any other questions anybody has? Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Dandot pranam, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.